First, let me call Woody Harris to the podium. Woody? Thank you, Jack. On behalf of the Virginia Association of Planning District Commissions, we're honored to be here today with our local government colleagues. Whether you live in Vienna or Brunswick County, Big Stone Gap or Eastville, the city, county, or town in which you reside is part of a planning district or regional commission. Virginia's PDCs were established by the Virginia General Assembly in 1969 through the Regional Cooperation Act. These groups work to encourage and facilitate regional solutions to problems of area-wide impact relating to economic development and quality of life. This cooperative approach with state and federal agencies in obtaining and administering program grants saves our citizens, our localities, and our state valuable tax dollars and a great deal of time on the work performed. I'm proud of the work being done by our commissions and congratulate all of our PDC members. For more information on the work being done, you can see our best practices document, which is on our website at www.vapdc.org. Our thanks to those of you in local government for your support in regional collaboration. I have the special privilege of introducing our first speaker today. Terry McAuliffe is a Democratic candidate for governor of Virginia. He's a businessman and Democratic Party leader from Fairfax County. Since starting his first company at age 14, Terry has been active in diverse sectors of the economy, working to improve struggling companies and to start new ones. He received his undergraduate degree from Catholic University, a law degree from Georgetown University, and given the events of the last few years, I suspect has a doctorate degree in applied politics from the School of Experience and Hard Knocks. Terry married Dorothy McAuliffe in 1988, and they've lived in McLean, Virginia for over 20 years. They have 5 kids, Dory, Jack, Mary, Sally, and Peter. And we're delighted to have him with us today. Please join me in welcoming Terry McAuliffe.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and let's give a great hand for Woody for that great introduction. It's great to be with Woody and Jack and Ed. It's an honor for me to be with all of you in this room. You may remember I spoke to many of you about 4 years ago. That didn't work out so well, but I'm back again. But last time I ran, I talked about a lot of issues and things that we needed to be doing here in Virginia to move Virginia forward, and I think those issues I talked about then are as prevalent today, or even more so. We have some big challenges, as we all know, here in Virginia. We got a great economy, but we now need to take it to the next level. We all know that we're going to see huge Department of Defense cuts. The federal government, which we are the single biggest recipient of all of the 50 states of the nation, is going to be pulled back, and that will have an adverse impact on Virginia. And what I've said from day one is that we need a governor who's going to focus on those mainstream pro-business ideas, who's going to focus on job creation, building the businesses we have here in Virginia today, and who's going to use relationships and knowledge and know-how to bring businesses from around the world here to Virginia. And that's what I want to focus on. That is my agenda. As Woody said, I've been involved in business my whole life. I've started over 30 companies. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've taken over bankrupt companies, took over a large home building company that was in receivership, brought in new management and capital, built 6,000 homes, sold it a few years later. I went to China and actually bought an electric car company. I'm sick and tired of our jobs being taken from the United States to China, so I'm going to say I'm going to do something unique. And I actually bought the most advanced electric car company and brought that company from China back to the United States of America. As many of you know, I have just been involved in leasing acreage at the port down in Portsmouth to build a manufacturing and exporting wood pellet facility, which is important. Wood pellets, I'm sure you all know what wood pellets are. They are the renewable source of the future if you burn coal in Europe. You need to mix it with a little bit of a renewable, and that renewable of choice are wood pellets. We have tremendous opportunities to create new jobs. So we went into a dilapidated part of the port, and now we're creating jobs, and we'll be taking those wood pellets at full operations. We'll be over 1 million tons a year when we're up and fully running. New jobs here in Virginia, and those are the things that I focus on every single day. I'm running for governor because Dorothy and I have been here for over 20 years. I've been successful in business. I had a choice to move anywhere I wanted to move. I chose Virginia as the place to raise my 5 children. And my goal is to make sure that my 5 children stay here in Virginia, and I'm selfish. I want my family to have their children here. I want grandchildren very close to their father. And I think I speak for each and every person in this room, and that's what we should be focused on. How do we create those jobs in the 21st century? I've done it my whole life. That's what the folks in this room, you are concerned about. You need economic activity. You need to grow your budgets. And you need to grow it by having more economic development. And that is what I am single-minded focused on. I have done it my whole life. And I want to do it as your governor. People say, well, Terry's got a lot of energy. You bet I have energy. But I want to take that energy and focus on you and helping you grow and to help these communities grow and bring in new businesses all over the world, let it be in the high technology field or the renewable energy. We have such great assets here in Virginia. And we just need to take it to the next level. So that is going to be my focus. We need to do it because of the cuts that are coming. And I would like to bring those practical business approaches that I've done my whole life to the governorship here. And what does that mean? Well, if you look at the different things I've done in my life, I think any business and my product would be as governor, the Commonwealth of Virginia. And every day I get out of bed, I know I'm competing against 200 other nations and 49 other states. So the first thing we got to do, research and development. And what does that mean here in Virginia? We got to have a real plan on transportation. We need to have a plan that has $1 billion in it so that we can continue to do what we need to do on road construction, on high-speed rail, on metro. We have to have a serious plan because we all know the issues. I live in Northern Virginia. We waste 70 hours a year sitting in traffic. It costs us economically over $1 billion. Hampton Roads, they spend over 34 hours a year stuck in traffic. Costs them $700 million. There's $1.7 billion of lost productivity because we haven't been able to get our act together here on transportation. We've continued to kick the can down the road. Well, folks, we can't kick it any longer. And I'll tell you why. Because in 2017, Virginia will be the only state in the great nation of the United States of America that no longer will be able to go and get federal highway matching funds. We can't do it because all of our money will be in the maintenance fund. Now, you should all be outraged. You all know this. But when you apply for federal highway matching funds, it's $1 from the state and it is $4 from the federal government. This $4 is your money. Federal taxpayer money that if we don't get, will go to 49 other states. That is irresponsible. And as your governor, I'm going to do everything I can, and I hope they get it resolved. I congratulate Governor McDonald. He put a plan out. We have the Watkins plan. We have other plans that are out there. I'm happy to see that we are now having a real discussion on transportation. But a discussion isn't going to do any of us any good unless we can come up with a comprehensive plan of dedicated funding to do what we need to do here in Virginia on our roads. Because the consequences are too great for all of us. As your governor, you want me to go out and bring businesses from around the world here to Virginia. It's difficult if your employees are stuck in traffic every single day. If you can't go see your children go play soccer or lacrosse or rugby in the afternoon because it takes too long. And I've spent over 20 years in McLean, Virginia, going to these games and going on hikes. We need to be able to have a quality of life issue when it comes to transportation. So as governor, I'm going to focus on that. The second thing we have to focus on is training. What is that? That's all about education. We've gone the wrong way on education funding. You can't bring businesses in and grow them unless we're fully funding education. Just saw a report that 12% of our teachers had left to go to other states. We can't be losing our best teachers and our professors. I've met with almost every single university president and college president. They all have the same complaint. Terry, we're losing some of our best professors to other states. We can't do that. We need to be bringing scientists in, and we shouldn't be suing scientists, folks. We need to be drawing them in here to Virginia. We need to be growing them here. In 2009, 60 of our school divisions met the Leave No Child Behind student progress reports. 60. In 2011, we were down to 4. We're going in the wrong direction. We need to focus on education. One thing I've put a lot of time into, we need to put a lot more emphasis on our community colleges. 3 out of our 5 higher ed students are going to the community colleges. I've toured, in fact, I'm going to Rappahannock Community College this afternoon. I was just at Piedmont, Virginia Community College. And you go in these community colleges, they are training folks, they're getting them ready, workforce development to move out and get jobs. Our students in their sophomore years have to make decisions on what they're going to major in. What we ought to be linking them to the jobs of the future, so they're making decisions that when they come out, so they just don't have a lot of debt and no job. We got to do a better job, I believe, in our workforce development. So as your governor, I'm going to focus a lot. We got to put money into education. We got to be smart about it. The other thing, as a business person, as I say, thousands of people have been involved in the different various businesses that I've run. You got to have efficiencies. You have to do it every single day in your communities. You got to be smart about how you spend your money. And I talked a lot about this as I traveled around. You know, after 2009, didn't work out the way I'd hoped, but you know, that's life. We win some, we lose some. But I got out of bed the next day, and as most of you probably know, have done thousands of events across the Commonwealth. I've met many of you. I've been in coal mines. I've been to oyster and chicken fests. I've done it all. But I've been out listening to folks, and that's where I get these ideas. And one of the greatest ideas is, Terry, you got to give us more local autonomy for us at the local level to make decisions about how it affects our constituents. I was just down in Norfolk with Mayor Paul Frame, and he said, you know, Terry, if the Norfolk City Council, we meet 20 times a year. If we want to meet 24 times a year, we got to go to Richmond for approval. That is the craziest thing. Now, why should some delegate from wherever else part of the state, in Northern Virginia or Martinsville or Danville, be telling Norfolk how many times their city council should meet? It's ridiculous. You folks ought to meet as many times as you want, or as few times as you want, that does the service for your constituents. It's mind-boggling, and I talked a lot about the Dillon rule. We've got to give you more authority on efficiencies. You all got to be able to work together to save money. Efficiencies of scale. You all don't need all the same things. You could work together. How about come together on your buying power? So as governor, as a business person, that are the types of things that I would focus on. Bringing people together. I would also, having done businesses here, sometimes it's very difficult because there are so many agencies involved. As governor, I would want to have, I haven't come up with the exact title, but a Secretary of Economic Development, who there's one place for businesses to go so they know if you're trying to lure business in, they go to one place and then they deal with all the different agencies and the incentives and so forth, because today, folks, it's too complicated. You need jobs in your communities. In fact, I stood on this stage the other day and made a lot of news. I don't know why I did, but Bill Bowling spoke before I did. He said, you know, I'm probably not running again here in Virginia, but I'd love to stay involved. And I said, Governor, my first appointment, I'd love to have you help me create jobs here in Virginia. That should not be a unique thing that Democrats and Republicans work together. Jobs are not a partisan issue. We've got to stop this partisan rancor. We've got to bring people together. I have done it all right. So if you do the R&D and you do the education training and then you work on the efficiencies, I'm very excited about what we can get done. But the final thing I would say is we got to have focus. Now, many politicians go around, they say, well, they listen to you and this and that. Those that have spent time with me over the course of the last few years know that I never go anywhere without my notebook. I have gone through dozens of notebooks getting these ideas from you. You know better than I do. You're on the ground, you're in your communities. And we need politicians who are listening to folks and getting the best ideas. I get my best ideas from you. You need a governor who is going to focus on pro-business, mainstream ideas, bringing common sense approaches with a long background in creating jobs. We cannot, folks, let us continue to have this socially divisive issues out there in our legislature. We cannot have what we had last year, where we made Virginia a laughingstock on national television. The other day, when they did the redistricting issue, they should have been focusing on jobs, education, healthcare, and transportation. And why are we bringing up these issues that are dividing people? We need to unite people. As I say, I promise you, as governor, I will work 24/7. I'm not a big sleeper, as most of you know. I have a motto, sleep when you're dead. I promise you, I will get out of bed every single day, focusing on how I can help you do a better job. And as governor, And since you're on the front lines, I would meet with all of you at least once a quarter. We should institutionalize a program where you have an opportunity to sit with the governor and give me your ideas. I will be your partner, I will be your friend, and most importantly, I will be your job creator. Thank you very much for this opportunity.